Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. And before we get started today talking about some of the conversations I had this weekend, I want to talk about this past weekend. And if my voice sounds a little bit off, it's because I lost a lot of it while I was in Texas. But it was a blast to be in Texas. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, where you been, Bitcoin Ben had a big old conference down in Texas, just outside of San Antonio. I was able to get down there for live this time, along with 100 other brand new friends, and some not so new, but new enough. But we all enjoyed one of those company and had some fun and talked a lot of crypto, and it was a big old blast. We talked about branding and marketing, and it just so happens I was more than prepared. I had my own little shirt and my own little branding on there, and we'll be demonstrating. I'll be putting these up on the website soon. With more about the shirts a little bit later. But I was ready with my logo. I was ready with my shirts. I was sitting up in front, had my name across my back, and Ben just happened to be talking about branding and marketing yourself. So wasn't coordinated, but it was just all part of the fun. And then comes the second day. Well, before I get to the second day, but the first day that really got into big swing. We had a great time at a local restaurant and bar, live music, dancing, drinks, family fun, slides, playground. It was crazy from 8 to 80. Everybody was there. Welcome. It reminded me of what America's supposed to be. We were all there. We were all unified. Everybody's happy, welcome. Nobody's worried about wearing a mask. Nobody's worried about anything about that. We're just all together, and we're all just having fun. And we all had enjoying our freedom was what our country was founded on. We were all there meant to be. So I was just really thankful for that. And it was a bit surreal though for me because I'm there and I just gave out a bunch of t-shirts, and there's like my name is walking around everywhere, and there's pictures and shaking hands, and everybody's like, "Hey, LitecoinLeader," and I'm like, "Hey, you." But I guess that's what I signed up for, and I'm more than happy to do it. I'm here to help as many people as I can. That's why I make the videos. So I wanted to share a nice conversation I had, one of many. Again, the voice. One of the many conversations I had in Texas was about how big can this thing really be, or how big can crypto get? So we're going to talk about how big crypto can get today, and what I'm looking at to try to evaluate just how large, not just Bitcoin, but all of crypto can really get. So to answer the question that was asked this weekend about how big can Bitcoin and crypto really get, you need to look at relative size. So Bitcoin compared to other markets gives you an idea of how early we really are. This article here from Bitcoinist.com talks about a year ago how big the market was and what the opportunity possibly could be. So there's two good graphs that are in here as I scroll down. Bitcoin, at the time of this article, which was 12 months ago, was about 42 times smaller than the size of the gold market. Now it's more like a tenth, because gold's about 10 trillion, Bitcoin's about 1 trillion. 100 times Bitcoin at the time, or about 2.5 times as large as gold, which would put it about 25 trillion. U.S. Federal Reserve balance sheet, but of course we've had plenty of quantitative easing since then, so it's probably higher. And then you have global currency supply, even bigger than that. So that projected some quantitative easing, but I'm sure that was too low. The other way to look at this is the infamous stock to flow model from 100 trillion USD on Twitter, where he's mapped out how the price of Bitcoin tends to emulate and go and match step for step with the halving events for Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin was halved once again, you're looking at $100,000 Bitcoin on the horizon. So now let's make a case of how, if Bitcoin gets to $1 million, let's say Bitcoin evolves up to $1 million through, say, another halving event 5 years from now. We get to $1 million. According to stock to flow, it could happen. We've had people talk about Bitcoin at $200,000 or $400,000 a coin. So it's an achievable number. To put in perspective, Bitcoin at that price would put it about 13% of the global gross domestic product of the entire planet, which is pretty sizable, about 1/8 of all the money in the world of the value of product. 23rd of the stock market, so 23% of the stock market, and 45% or half
or close to half of the global money supply. Again, perspective. Now let's take an even bigger look at the bigger picture here. So Bitcoin, again, is often compared to gold. When Bitcoin, again, 120 billion when this was written in 2018, it was didn't plan for the acceleration of Bitcoin to getting over $1 trillion. So now Bitcoin is roughly, between 10 and 15% the size of gold, but there's even more beyond the horizon. That's what I wanted to mention. It's not just about Bitcoin anymore. Global stock markets are 73 trillion, about 10 times as larger than gold. Now you have the global money supply over 90 trillion, global debt 215 trillion, real estate 217 trillion, and finally derivatives at 544 trillion. So the big takeaway at the bottom here, which is to say that the volatility is because Bitcoin is so relatively small to all these markets. That's why Bitcoin fluctuates so much. Bitcoin and the rest of crypto will not stabilize until it starts to reach into the tens of trillions of dollars. How does it get there, though? It's not just Bitcoin. It's all cryptocurrency. And to the main category that people are overlooking, the financial transaction market. This is why everybody's talking about DeFi, and it's such a big buzzword right now. Fintech. PayPal CEO predicts 2 years ago in February, digital payments could mature into a $100 trillion market. Imagine that, considering that all of our transactions are moving towards the digital platform, and everyone's talking about digital transactions only, getting out of a cashless society. Let's just say it gets to be half. $100 trillion market. $100 trillion dwarfs gold by a factor of more than 10, which would dwarf Bitcoin by almost a factor of 100. The coins that address the digital payments are more in the DeFi space than Bitcoin. So don't be surprised if Bitcoin dominance plummets over time as Fintech and DeFi get more and more involved in the space. Do you see why I'm looking at altcoins more? Lastly, just looking at $100 trillion Fintech and the articles that come up from Forbes, $100 trillion opportunity to race to provide banking to the world's poor, the underbanked. Fintech is the key to growing the $100 trillion global economy. Digital payments could grow to a $100 trillion market from CNBC. That is the market that we're looking at. We have to think bigger, and it's so hard to contemplate just how big this market can get. There were guesstimates this weekend of $5 to $10 trillion stabilizing the market for Bitcoin, maybe. But also, the crypto market is not just going to be Bitcoin. There are now over 9,000 coins.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right!
This is a much more mature market space than it was 4 years ago when there were mostly white papers and unproven projects. Now with DeFi exploding, we have liquidity pools. We have wrapped Bitcoin where you're lending out your Bitcoin, and Michael Saylor is borrowing against his Bitcoin. The $100 trillion market, it's not just about the global currency supply anymore. The global currency supply, let's go back to that one real quick. Global currency supply of $90 trillion. What that fails to take into account is what we call velocity of money. How fast does money turn over? Transactions. That's where the money is made. That's why Visa and MasterCard do so well and the banks do so well. Transactional fees. If, as predicted, crypto and fintech get more and more involved with DeFi, that $90 trillion can easily turn into a $100 trillion financial market, which could potentially dwarf Bitcoin even at a $10 to $15 trillion valuation. That's how big this can get.
So now we've talked about it. It's not just Bitcoin. It's not just gold. It's all finance that's being revamped. That's what we're in the middle of. Blockchain is taking over not just currency, but everything, all the different transactions. We're going to be replacing a lot of things. It's an incredibly large market. It's hard to wrap your mind around. So not just gold, but look at how big the DeFi space can be. And what's dominating DeFi? It's not Bitcoin. It's altcoins. And why do we talk about altcoins? Who likes to talk about altcoins? LitecoinLeader does. And we got a nice game over at LitecoinLeader.com. Altcoinopoly from now until the end of the July, where we're giving out 35 different coins that we're going to talk about. And we're going to put them all over the Altcoinopoly board, and only subscribers can get all the different spaces. So please join so you can get every space and potentially win a free trip to Myrtle Beach. So I'm also going to make this offer. I made this offer in Texas. It was a little bit different because I was in person and giving out t-shirts to everybody. But if you're thinking about subscribing, and I know you are, what I want you to think about is that anybody that joins at the $50 level or higher is going to get a free t-shirt. I will mail them personally a t-shirt with maybe even a thank you and for subscribing, and you'll get a t-shirt. And then it goes further than that. With the t-shirt, you take a picture of yourself in the t-shirt around your town, and that shows me you're out there, you're helping me market, you're wearing the shirt, you're enjoying it, you're having fun, you're starting conversations about crypto, which it's all about. And take a picture like that, send it in to me, which gives me the rights to put it up on the website. That's what you're agreeing to. And it helps me a little bit about marketing, but you get 25% off of a month of LitecoinLeader.com subscription. So win-win, even better. LitecoinLeader is going to offer you 2 months at 25% off if you not only go around town and take a picture, but go somewhere where I can tell where you are. Like go to a monument. If you're in St. Louis, go to the Arch. If you're in Seattle, go to the Needle. Toronto as well. Wherever, like, San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge. Go to a landmark. Go somewhere where I know that you're at, and I can tell what town you're in, and I'll give you 2 months for 25% off. So again, I'm here to help you. I'm doing the best I can, both to market myself, help the channel grow. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Tweet about it, share it however you want. It helps the channel a lot. Leave a comment too. I would love to hear your comments about not just this video, but other videos and other videos you want me to see me do. Anything you think of. I don't care if you write down what you had for breakfast today. Comments help the channel grow. So please leave a comment. Please think about joining. $50 and up, free shirt. Ship it to you free, and 25% off 1 or 2 months. Come on down, play Altcoinopoly, learn about those over 9,000 coins that are out there that are competing with Bitcoin in the DeFi space, and it could really flip the whole market on its head. So lots of things to say today, as I always do. But for now, I'm going to close the drawer on the bureau, and I'll see you next time. Take care.